In this video, we're talking about how to wash a vehicle in direct sunlight. So here I'm going to wash and clay vehicle in direct sunlight with no shade, and you're gonna see how I managed to wash the vehicle, it still dries on me, how I clay the vehicle, and how to manage it when there's literally steam coming off the panels because the vehicle is so hot. I know this is where a lot of mobile detailers find themselves, where it's just such a hot environment, there's no shade, you can't move it, there's no garage. How do you manage washing and claying and prepping a vehicle for correction in the hot sun? Not fun, not always a good thing to do, but hey, it's a part of the job. If you're interested in the tools and products, check that down below. I also have them linked there below. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna begin the wash process or the prep process. Here I'm using Malco's CW37, and then Malco's wash mitt here. Now the dilution ratio on this is pretty crazy. It is 1 to 400. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use a lot more of it just because I have it in gallon size. But the dilution rate does call for 1 to 400. Which is not much. It's an ounce per 3 gallons of water, which is like crazy good if you're looking like to save, or if you do high volume car washes and you want to get the most out of one product. That's actually pretty good, but I'm actually gonna use a lot more because, you know, why not? So oh, it smells really good. Make it bubble up. This wash bucket is from the something rig. I made a video on it a while back, but I just, when I'm at here, I'll use this instead of a wash bucket. No reason why, but it's just readily available, so I use this rectangle of a bucket. And hopefully you guys are picking me up. So because it is hot weather, I'm gonna break it down. Like you can do a rinseless wash, but look at this, I gotta fix the hose. So I'm gonna start with, you just wanna wash it in sections if you're working in the heat, because there's just no way I can finish the entire vehicle without it completely drying up on me. So I'm not gonna dry it at any point, but I am going to continually rinse it down. Or maybe I can actually if I move quick enough. But the point is that you don't wanna let the surface dry, that's it. If you use distilled water, then you're basically Gucci. You don't have to worry about anything because it's not gonna dry after you rinse it, of course. Wow, that sounds pretty good. But you're gonna just quickly wash the surfaces. Again, I'm not worried about being overly like, oh my God, like, no, you know, I'm using one bucket. Primarily though, keep in mind, it's not that dirty. That's why, like, if it was dirtier, then I would wash the kind of hard to think and move quick. I would wash the wash mitt before I put it back into the bucket. That way I'm removing any of the debris that might be in the wash mitt. So I'll show you guys right now. What I mean is before I dunk it back into the, hopefully you can see me, before I dunk it back into the wash mitt, I would rinse it off first. And then do that. And that way you keep a clean wash mitt throughout the entire process. So you can do that option if you want, but here right now, I am not. So let's keep it moving. Let me switch it up for you guys so you can see. And I don't get the details right now. That'll be the next step. So right now, I'm just getting what I can with, I'm just washing the vehicle normal, and I'll still come back and get the detailed areas with brushes later on. So I'm gonna rinse it down. I'm not gonna dry yet. I'm just gonna knock off most of that soap. And then we're gonna top to bottom. There's basically no dirt on here, so I can keep it moving. And be mindful of the parts that you washed already. You want to keep on rinsing them down, just so that it doesn't dry up on you. So if you want to be extra careful, oh, this is annoying. You just keep on rinsing it down. squeeze it out, resupply, and keep it moving. Get underneath the door handle. No. And remember, we want to keep everything wet, so just kind of loosely go over some other areas that need it. It would help if you remove the license plates before you get started, but I'm not that smart to do that. All right, and that roughly took around 9 minutes to do just a primary wash. I still have to dry the vehicle. We're still gonna touch up the detailed areas with a detailed brush, but just the wash in itself took about 9 minutes. Now next, you can do it in multiple ways to get those detailed areas. You can use an all-purpose cleaner. Here I'm using their complete wheel and tire cleaner, but also with some of the wash soap that's in the buckets, and I'm using a Max Shine brush. Again, I'm primarily using Mako, but when I don't have things, then I'll use that. So let's quickly go ahead, and you can tell the paint's already dried on me, which is good, so I can show you guys what I do. But the paint's already dry, so now it's getting the details and then drying the vehicle. Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to manage drying the vehicle, washing the rinsing the vehicle, and cleaning the detail and trying to record it, primarily because the video, it's eating a lot of time trying to check if I'm in frame and not overexposed or anything. I'm gonna switch it up a bit, but so I got a little container with the soap and water. That way I don't contaminate the other wash bucket if I may need it. So I'll carry this around with me, but if it's not that bad like here, I'm just gonna go ahead and go straight into the cleaning of the detailed areas. Maybe I'll spray a little bit to get more agitation power, but it's not really much. I'm gonna keep on dunking it into this little container to keep it, to give me the cleaning power that I need, and to rinse it off. So you don't always necessarily need a thorough cleaner. Maybe it will help a little bit. And you can always come back at the very end of the detail and like get very specific, or even polish these parts out. So, you know, you're not gonna get, you're just trying to get the debris out or the stuck on dirt or whatever is in here. You're not trying to like polish them out right now. Okay, same thing. You're gonna spray whatever areas you want to agitate, and just gently. I'm not putting any pressure on this whatsoever. I'm literally just letting it glide over the surface. Now on this back rear, since it's in the shade, it's not gonna dry out as quick actually, so that's a good plus. And this part is always filled with stuff. You can also open up the trunk later, that way it's at eye level, and clean it out. Clean this back part here. And then rinse it down. And I'm not sure if you can check, but it's actually, all the water did dry up on us. Like there's a lot of residue, dry residue, water streaks on the paint itself. Just because, you know, during recording and all that, I just can't get to everything that I need to in time. So what do we do in a situation like this? So what do you do now? It's dried up, the water dried up, you're not using distilled water or anything, so it's gonna leave a mark there. What do you do? Well, since we're still correcting, we're still in the sun, all I can do, which is pretty simple still, is just use your clay lube, whatever clay lube that is. Here I'm gonna be using Optimum No Rinse. and I'm going to just clay that specific portion, that panel, whatever part I'm spraying down and claying, and then I'm going to dry it. That's it. I'm not going to use iron remover on this one. I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to skip that step. If you wanted to use the iron remover, then it's you wash the vehicle. Right after you wash it, you would spray it down and then rinse it down and then go into this phase. So not much that I'm really skipping. And it's not going to really change much of the outcome that I'm going to deliver. Okay, and then for drying towel, this is from the Rag Company. Got the waffle weave, the pluffle towel. Pretty straightforward. Going to lubricate the wash mitt, the clay mitt. I've just always done that. I don't know if you're supposed to, but I do that. And then literally just going to lay down the product on where it's at. It's going to dry pretty quick, so you want to put a little bit more than usual so you get some working time. And you literally just work it in. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's literally steaming off the panel. So this panel is indeed very hot now. So just you have to keep on applying the product, because if you don't apply the product, the chemical again, the clay lube, you're gonna get some serious marring into the paint, because you're literally gonna slide this clay across paint completely dry. And I can literally leave it like that for a few seconds and it will dry out on its own. But just one quick little motion here, and I'm not trying to get like a thorough dry here. I'm just not letting it dry on the surface. And there we are, clayed, good to go. Same thing, IK9 pump sprayer with ONR. Put a liberal amount, and hopefully it's catching it on camera, but it's literally misting away. And there's no contaminant, so that's also in my favor. And that's why the pump sprayer is so much better than a spray bottle. You can lay down so much quicker, to be way more efficient, especially when it's here in the sun. There we are. And if you get on a hot area that's not lubed up, then it will leave some clay residue behind. Like right there, it just happened right there. And you can polish it out, you can remove it. Not a big deal, but it's just an extra step you have to do if you let that happen. Let's see if there's any other spots here. Yeah, like right here. Yeah, there's actually a lot of little clay marks around the paint because it's so hot, it was drying it too quick. So as soon as I set it down, it just stuck some of that clay to the paint. So spray down this entire panel right here. Now this one is not so much in direct sunlight, so it's going to be way easier to clay. It's hot, but it's nowhere near like that hood because it's directly in the sun. So here you get a bit more working time. I'm not in a rush as much as I'm still in a rush because it is hot, but it's not steaming hot as it was on the hood. And then wipe it down. Okay, I want to say it's a bit hotter than the other side, but still better than the hood. No, it's pretty good. There's no steam coming off, so it's a bit more favorable. See that? That's the heat. So that part was completely too hot. You see that? It's literally sticking to the paint because it's too hot. So I have to make sure that when I come back, I either remove these before I start polishing, or when I'm polishing, I'm paying attention to that, because it's literally so hot. It's just sticking straight onto the paint and the clay. And you literally follow that process across the entire vehicle. The tricky part is all going to be the parts of the car that are hotter. So it's all going to be your hood, your roof, your rear trunk lid, because that's like straight facing the sun, or the sun's beating down on it. Even if it's to the side, the sun's all going to be beating on that part. The easier parts are going to be the shaded area. So the sun is on the right side, it's the left side that'll be kind of shaded and cooled, and vice versa to the other side. But other than that, you just got to keep it lubricated and keep it moving quickly. If you're not spraying enough lubrication, you run into problems. If you're moving too slow, the paint's going to dry, the clay's going to stick, you're going to get into problems. It's going to be frustrating. So lubrication and speed. Okay, so now we have the wheels and tires cleaned, we have the paint washed, and we have the paint clayed. So the next step would be to start prepping the vehicle. Now, if there's a lot more trim, a lot more emblems, a lot more stickers, decals, vinyls that aren't underneath the clear coat, and you can potentially peel them off or peel them up from the edges through polishing, you would want to start taping that off. Here, the only part I'm really probably going to tape off is the A-pillars. There's a bit of trim there that's like usually gets, it's already a thin piece of paint on the A-pillar, and that rubber piece takes a good portion of that. So just to make sure I don't get any trim, any polish or residue on that trim, I will tape that off. But other than that, there's not many raised edges, there's not many emblems, there's not much trim, there's not much really going on. So I'm not gonna tape off. I'm not gonna tape off that much. I will tape off some areas, but not much, because there's just not much of that sensitive areas that need to be taped off. And that's basically going to wrap up this video. The next phase is the paint polishing and correction, which I already uploaded a video, which is the most recent one. So I should have probably done this one first, but hey, not really a big deal. So if you want to see the paint correction and the polishing of this vehicle, check the most recent video. But other than that, we'll end it here. A bunch of tips, tricks. Share yours down below on what else you do to manage the heat when you're washing or cleaning the vehicle. I could have easily brought it into the garage. That always helps to just be in shade, but that's not always the case in most of the times as a mobile detailer. So let me know your comments, questions, concerns. Leave your tips down below, and I'll see you on the next one.